It was early morning on the Eastern Front, 0600 hours, a cold winter day. Russian military command believed this would be a decisive operation, a breakthrough that could change the situation on the battlefield. A Russian mechanized regiment moved forward to attack Ukrainian defensive positions. The force was large and heavily equipped. Around 1,900 soldiers, supported by 43 main battle tanks and 52 infantry fighting vehicles, began their assault. Their mission was clear: break through Ukrainian lines and advance deep into enemy territory. At first, everything seemed to go according to plan. Ukrainian resistance appeared weak, forward defensive. Positions were lightly held. Ukrainian units briefly engaged the advancing Russian forces and then began to withdraw. To Russian commanders, this looked like a collapse. The advance accelerated. By midday, Russian forces had moved 8 kilometers beyond the original Ukrainian defensive line. Reports sent to higher command declared success. The breakthrough had been achieved. Orders were given to consolidate positions and prepare for further advance. The regiment believed victory was theirs, but what Russian command failed to understand was that the Ukrainian withdrawal was deliberate. Over months of fighting, Ukrainian commanders had learned that rigid defense against a numerically superior enemy often leads to heavy losses. Instead, they adopted a defense-in-depth strategy. This doctrine allows the enemy to advance, trading space for time, while preserving combat power. The goal was not to stop the enemy immediately but to trap them. Ukrainian forces allowed the Russian regiment to push forward into territory where logistics would become difficult and mutual support would weaken as Russian units advanced. Ukrainian troops quietly moved into blocking positions behind them. By the evening of the first day, the Russian regiment was inside a narrow salient -8 kilometers deep and 3 kilometers wide, surrounded on 3 sides. The corridor behind them was closing. The regiment was now isolated. Russian commanders did not immediately recognize the danger. They continued to report consolidation and requested routine resupply. Higher headquarters acknowledged and promised supplies would arrive the next day. That night, the situation changed dramatically. Ukrainian artillery began systematic bombardment of the pocket. This was not a single massive strike. Instead, shells fell every 15 to 20 minutes, high explosive rounds, illumination shells, constant pressure. Russian soldiers could not rest. They attempted to dig positions in frozen ground. Sleep was impossible. Equipment maintenance became dangerous. Stress and exhaustion spread rapidly. By dawn of the second day, the regiment had been under fire for 8 continuous hours. Casualties were rising. Morale was falling. Russian command attempted to send resupply convoys fuel, ammunition, food, and medical supplies. Ukrainian forces intercepted them before they reached the pocket. Anti-tank teams destroyed lead vehicles. Artillery struck the convoys. No supplies got through. Fuel levels dropped critically. Ammunition stocks were depleted, defending against probing attacks. Food was rationed. Medical supplies were insufficient to treat the growing number of wounded. At 0800 hours on day 2, Ukrainian artillery destroyed all fuel trucks inside the pocket using drone-guided strikes. Russian tanks and infantry vehicles were now immobilized. Maneuver was impossible. Later that morning, Ukrainian forces targeted ammunition storage areas. Secondary explosions ripped through Russian positions, killing soldiers and eliminating remaining combat supplies. Radio intercepts revealed desperation. Officers requested evacuation or relief. Higher command ordered the regiment to hold its positions and promised help, but no relief arrived. Throughout day 2, Ukrainian forces tightened the encirclement. Artillery fire became more accurate. Drone surveillance tracked every movement. Psychological operations began. Ukrainian drones dropped leaflets written in Russian. "Are surrounded. You will not be relieved. Surrender now to live." Some soldiers dismissed the message. Others understood the truth. Officers tried to destroy the leaflets, but doubt spread. That night, artillery shifted from harassment to destruction. Multiple batteries fired simultaneously. Explosions tore through defensive positions. Thermobaric rounds killed soldiers even in cover. Medical facilities collapsed. Many wounded died from injuries that would normally be survivable. By dawn of day 3, the pocket was devastated. Buildings were destroyed. Vehicles burned or sat abandoned without fuel. Bodies lay unrecovered under constant fire. At 0400 hours, Ukrainian forces launched a coordinated ground assault from 3 directions. Fresh units attacked exhausted defenders. Russian resistance was fragmented. Ammunition was nearly gone. Soldiers were exhausted. Command structure had broken down. Positions fell rapidly. At 0600 hours, the regimental commander sent his final report. His unit was destroyed. Further resistance was pointless. He requested permission to surrender to save remaining lives. Higher command initially refused. He transmitted again. His soldiers were dying for nothing. Permission was finally granted. At 0730 hours, white flags appeared. Firing stopped. 312 Russian soldiers surrendered, including the regimental commander and dozens of officers. The remaining 1,535 soldiers were dead. All 43 tanks were destroyed or abandoned. All 52 infantry fighting vehicles were lost. Support vehicles, artillery, and command equipment were destroyed or captured. Nothing remained of the regiment. Ukrainian forces later cleared the area. Casualty estimates showed Ukrainian losses were far lower, fewer than 300 killed or wounded. The operation demonstrated disciplined planning and execution. Ukrainian forces turned an apparent Russian success into a catastrophic defeat. For Russia, the failure was severe. Intelligence misread a planned withdrawal as collapse. Logistics failed. Command delayed decisions. Pride replaced reality. The 8-kilometer advance became an 8-kilometer grave. This was modern warfare, not about holding every meter of ground, but about maneuver, deception, and patience. A breakthrough became a trap. A victory became annihilation.